8 p.m.
ABC Sports presents, live in its 28th year, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today from Fresno, California's Cedar Lanes, it's the $125,000 Fresno Open. In our first match, the 1986 PBA Player of the Year, Walter Ray Williams Jr. of Stockton, California, will face Winston-Salem, North Carolina's Curtis Odom, who has yet to win a PBA championship. In the next game, we'll see the 1986 PBA Rookie of the Year, Marc McDowell. In the semifinal game, Amleto Monacelli of Venezuela is trying to win his third title. And our tournament leader, Tony Marrese of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, is hoping for his first PBA win. That's our field of five on today's Professional Bowlers Spring Tour telecast. There it is, the fast-growing, sprawling California city of Fresno, surrounded by the fertile San Joaquin Valley, where more fruits and vegetables are grown than any place in the world. We're at Cedar Lanes for the finals of the Fresno Open. We're delighted you joined us. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. Our 5 finalists are here. We're about ready to go with our live coverage of our second stop on a 3-city tour on our spring tour. And a man that has bowled in the San Joaquin Valley for years, in fact, finished second here once, is my colleague. Welcome, Nelson Burton, Jr.
Well, thank you, Chris. It's been one of the favorite places for all the pro bowlers, the 1960s, the 70s, into the 80s, and even into the 90s. Now, what makes Fresno so special? Well, first place, the lane surface. The players like to bowl on what we call a flexible lane surface. If you play the big hook, you can play the center of the lane. If you like the track area between the second and third arrows, you can play that shot. Some of the players have gone for this extreme outside line, both on the right and the left. Now let's look at today's finalists. In the first match, Walter Ray Williams Jr. 14 appearances since his last victory. He's going to be very tough, but he's got a tough opponent also in Curtis Odom. If Curtis wins the first match, he could go all the way. In the next match, Marc McDowell, the highly touted college player, coming into his own. The semifinal, Venezuelan Amleto Monacelli. He's always exciting. And in the final, a little-known left-hander, Tony Marrese. Exciting action, Chris, today, and there's a lot of money at stake. Let's take a look.
Out of that total purse, Bo, $18,000, $9,500, $7, $55, and $45. So, for the title, most important, the check for 18 as we go into match 1. On the left in the yellow shirt, that is 31-year-old Curtis Odom, a non-winner, 8 years a pro, and one of the real stars of the PBA Tour, 4-time World Horseshoe Pitching Champion, and a 5-time PBA Champion, 1986 Bowler of the Year. A lot of credentials for Walter Ray Williams Jr. First shot, first match. And some fan off to the right broke his concentration by cheering Walter on. He had a lot of high hits practicing, Bo, and here he's left to 6'10".
Well, it's hard to say really what they're going to shoot on the championship here, Chris. They only practiced about a half an hour. Most of the players decided that because it was a real warm day here and the environment that they just take a little warm-up. So we'll kind of watch what's happening as the first game unfolds.
So Walter marched with a spare here in front of a capacity standing room only crowd at Cedar Lanes in Fresno. Curtis Odom now, his second telecast ever, and both coming here in 1989. You may remember Curtis was second at the Showboat in Atlantic City earlier this year.
I like the style of Curtis Odom. He can hit almost any lane condition, a 4-step delivery, but look at the short backswing. Everything in perfect position right there. Drives with that pivot step towards the foul line. A solid, good, smooth extension.
The baby of a family of 4 children in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Has a grandmother watching that she calls Curtis her baby, and she's his biggest rooter. So we hope Grandma Sarah is watching back in North Carolina.
I'm sure she is, and we can remember doing some telecasts from his home bowling center, Major League Lanes in Winston-Salem.
So still still faced with a problem, but it's early in the game, and the tension, pressure is on, and here we have a 3-6, 9-10.
Tough shot for Curtis. I'm sure he'll try to go down the right side of the lane. It's important to carry out the back 9-pin. So you want to get as much angle of attack as you possibly can and still avoid the chop.
That'll release a lot of tension. As you remember, he's looking for his first PBA victory after a lot of regional titles. He's bowled in tons of regionals all through the South. It's the Walter Ray Williams Jr. of old.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., such a talented hand-eye coordinated athlete, takes that swing slightly outside, then gets it inside before he commits to the target, rolls it just to the right of the second arrow, very little hook, and this man can keep it in play when he gets hot. He can shoot some big, big numbers.
And with a good break on the left lane, Walter Ray Williams with a double goes out to a 14-pin lead here in our first match. Let's see it again.
The wall shot, the head pin will go to the sideboard, and watch the damage. Taking out the 4, 5, and 7 pins. Walter off to a quick double and a 14-pin lead.
Now Curtis Odom, that short backswing, spare up, third frame. All right.
Curtis Odom has bowled 54 regional tournaments in the past 2 years before joining the Professional Bowlers Tour on a full-time basis, and won over $50,000 in those 54 regionals. So he surely paid his, quote, minor league dues before coming to the PBA Tour.
It's 5'9", 165 pounds. And now he'll have to cover the 3-6-10.
2 shots in a row. Curtis goes high on the left-hand lane as you saw him approaching the foul line and sliding about in the center of the lane. He needs to make a little bit of a move to the left to adjust for lane 23 here, hooking slightly more than 24.
We're in the San Joaquin Valley, not too far from Yosemite National Park, one of the great wonders of the world. Just beyond the San Joaquin, and look at that gorgeous waterfall. We'll be back.
It's a tradition as old as the land itself. Your country calls, and you come. Your country asks you to give, and you give. And you do it all because you believe in your country. So to all the men and women who serve, Budweiser is proud to return your salute.
Yeah, I didn't know who to trust, especially with a foreign car.
Midas has the right muffler for almost every foreign car and guarantees them for as long as you own that car. No appointment needed.
So I went to number 1.
Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
The championship pair here at Cedar Lanes in Fresno, the oil pattern I'll show you on the left-hand lane. It's 26 feet down the lane of heavy oil. Then down to the 41-foot mark, it's a little bit lighter, and then it's dry all the way through the pin deck. Now here's the line some of the players are playing. Curtis Odom going down right on the edge, trying to break it into the pocket. As far as Walter Ray Williams Jr., the track area right between this person's second and third arrows, and our left-hander, our tournament leader, watch this line, hanging off. Every once in a while he goes in the channel and tries to get it back. He's playing a very extreme outside line. If they can keep in the pocket, should have some fabulous scores.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., third here last year in our telecast, looking for his first win since an '87 victory in Edmond, Oklahoma. Here he is now with the double up, leading by 14, can go up 24. the turkey. Earlier we asked Walter Ray, how did Walter Ray Williams Jr. get his name?
My grandfather's Walter Whitman Williams. My grandmother's Hazel Ray Williams. They named my father Walter Ray Williams, but he always went by Ray because my grandfather went by Walter, and their oldest son, me, got Walter Ray Williams Jr., and they like the name Walter Ray, so they've always called me Walter Ray.
Okay, we call him Deadeye.
And seniors in the audience.
I lost it. But the high hit, I think it's everything but the 6-10. He's a delightful guy. I always call him the Errol Flynn of the professional bowling circuit. Good-looking, mild-mannered, a delight to be around.
True, and one of the excellent competitors. When you bowl against Walter Ray Williams in the match game competition, whether it be the top 24 or in the position of the championship round, you're always against a tough customer.
Walter Ray now can take a breather, and Curtis Odom will come back up, trailing by 23. He'll be shooting the 5th frame, a spare up for this 31-year-old native of South Carolina, but has lived for many years in North Carolina. Thought he had them all, the 10.
Boy, he liked that shot when he released it. He sent it out wide to the extreme outside line. And when he saw the ball breaking back very sharply in the pocket, usually indicates that you're going to smash all 10 pins. Not to be for Curtis, as he can't quite get a break in the early going, has left the 10 pin.
Well, consistency. Earlier we asked Curtis how he thought whether it was more difficult for a black athlete to make it as a pro.
Well, I feel that it's difficult for anyone really to make it into the professional bowling tour, but with the blacks, it's a little more difficult because of the fact there's not that many role models. You have George Branham III and Rod Pasteur who've been doing real well, and it gives a lot of the black bowlers someone to look up to, but hopefully that's changing right now.
The last black to win one of our PB events, George Branham III. Just elusive 1-3 pocket for Curtis thus far.
And you don't like to see that reaction from a player. He thought he had made the proper adjustment for the strike line. It has the ball. It looks pretty good, about 10 feet away from the pins. All of a sudden, the sharp left-hand break avoids the 4-6-10 split, ends up with the 6-10 spare. He needs to make an adjustment.
Okay, other finishers here. Mike Albee, the leading money winner for a season all-time, finished 84th. The defending champion, Pete McCordick, 94th, and Marshall Holman, 141st.
Not good.
No. Walter Ray back striking now. He just joined us. Took a pretty good lead with a turkey early in this game, as you now see graphically. And there he is, hoping to double again. What a crowd.
Walter, who hasn't won in his last 14 appearances in the championship round, has really been unlucky. His last 4 losses have been 235, 218, 234, 223, all losses.
And now Walter Ray, his 4th telecast of the year, leads by 36 pins. This is where they discovered gold, and look at the beautiful stream and mountains. Oh, Yosemite.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford. A Motorcraft spark plug has to fire 500 times a minute. Over its life, that's a spark 5 miles long. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Nice beard. An electric razor doesn't shave that close. That's your razor, man. It's your face.
Without electric shave, your beard just lays there. Electric shave stands up your beard so it shaves down close, lubricates for comfort.
Good tip.
Electric shave for a closer, smoother shave.
Fancy perfuming aftershave. It's got to be a quarterback's locker. Real guys who get mud on their uniforms use rugged, honest stuff. ice blue aqua velva.
There's something about today's aqua velva, man.
So you still think linemen are dumb?
While we're away, this man, Curtis Odom, left a 10-pin marked with a spare in the 7th. Down the left lane, 8th frame, trailing by 37 against Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Gary!
Oh, yes.
And that overhead shot, Chris, you could see the adjustment that Curtis Odom had made on the left-hand lane. He had been high, 3-6 combination, every single shot. And when you saw his feet move about 10 boards to the left from that overhead camera, he gets the ball in the thin area of the pocket and just rips them out. Now he can press Walter Ray Williams, Jr., who does have a 37-pin lead, 8th frame.
From not so far away, Stockton on the left, one of his twin brothers, Jonathan, a horseshoe pitcher, and his dad, Ray Williams.
Jonathan made an interesting point. He said he was about an 80% horseshoe pitcher at 40 feet, but at the professional level where Walter Ray plays, from 30 feet he was 80%, and the pros play at 40 feet. He had a lot of trouble. Now, you see the overhead. You'll see the line that Walter Ray is playing. He's playing a much straighter shot, and he'll slide to the left-hand part of the approach out near the right channel. He could lock up the match with this shot.
Waited a long time for a rocky 9, but nothing happened.
9th frame with a lock in hand. He sends the ball high. The 2-pin comes off the sideboard, knocks off the 4, but does not carry out the 9. Walter Ray would be going at a 2:38 pace. The best Curtis Odom can do is 2:22.
I mentioned earlier Walter Ray, 4-time world champion. He is pitching horseshoes better than he's bowling. He told me thus far this year he's been in 4 matches. He's won 3 and finished second once. Not bad.
That is good record. And
pitches tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
And hopefully he will do well. Now, Curtis Odom absolutely must strike on the next 3 shots to have any chance. 9th frame. Cannot win now, Chris. The best Curtis can do is a really quality 2:02 game. He's had a lot of balls around the pocket. Nothing good happened. Walter Ray Williams, Jr. just breezing along at a 2:30 pace.
So Curtis will have to be content with a $4,500 check for his efforts here in Fresno.
Curtis needs a little self-confidence in the championship round, and you're going to see a whole lot of him. I predict 1990, Curtis Odom will be there many times.
All right, our first game is ended. We'll give you that final score when we return as we look at the winner, Walter Ray Williams, who will face Marc McDowell.
Okay, look, I like my steaks very well done. What most people call ruined, I call perfect. I know it's not popular, and if I weren't 6'9", I'd catch a lot of flack.
I got a taste for some real food.
I heard Larry Bird likes well-done steaks, so maybe I'll invite him over for a couple of sirloins. Nice, rare sirloins. I got you, Larry. I got you.
I got a taste for some real food. Quaker State engines don't know when to quit.
Mine's pushing 250,000 miles.
Quaker State exceeds every single car maker's U.S. requirements for maximum engine protection. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
He's back.
Bond. James Bond.
With a few good adventures and a few good women. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, parental discretion is advised. Sunday.
We did some research to find out why the Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America.
Because Ford has twin I-beam suspension. That means a better ride.
Ford has a bigger standard payload than the Chevy CK10. I need that.
Full instrumentation. It's standard on Ford, but not on Chevy.
The results are clear. People buy more Ford trucks.
Because Ford trucks give you more.
May is Ford month. Discounts on cash over $3,500 on F-150 trucks at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
A perfect game starts with the perfect equipment, and Bowler Supply is right up your alley. Select from bowling balls such as Vector, Hammer, Thunderbolt, and more. Personalized fitting and custom drilling to improve your game. Check out the colorful selection of bags, shoes, and apparel. For the pool player, rack them up on a new billiard table. Choose from in-stock tables or have one custom crafted to complement your decor. We stock accessories, too. For all your billiard needs and the largest inventory of bowling supplies in Central PA, visit Bowler Supply, 401 Carlisle Avenue, York.
The Indy 500, Sunday at 11 on TV 27.
The Professional Bowlers Spring Tour, brought to you by First Brands Corporation, makers of new Simonized non-abrasive car wax. By Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, the last great taste of youth. And by Firestone, the name that's known as Firestone, where the rubber meets the road.
Spectators at Cedar Lanes in Fresno, California. Happy people here because they love living in a great climate in the San Joaquin Valley. Walter Ray Williams Jr. with 7 strikes, defeating Curtis Odom 237 to 187. Next up, Marc McDowell. Next week, we'll present the $25,000 first prize and a beautiful crystal trophy to the winner of the $50,000 Budweiser Kingpin Standings. This 19 tournament competition was contested throughout ABC's winter and spring tour schedule, and we'll do it from the Showboat in Las Vegas a week from today.
The doubles competition, always interesting. And now here's a guy on a roll with a 237 start, Walter Ray Williams Jr., starting on the left-hand lane, which his first opponent, Curtis Odom, just could not hit. Let's see how McDowell handles it. McDowell, much more of a power player than Odom.
Gooden tripped the 4. 237, 187. Walter Ray with 7 strikes.
Walter Ray Williams Jr., you see him coming up the right side of the approach, just misses fouling by about an inch. It's amazing that players can go that close to the line and never slide over.
Consistency on the part of Walter Ray Williams. Now we get a look at 26-year-old Marc McDowell, a West Texas State University product. He's had 3 seconds on the tour.
No doubt about the line he's playing. Much more power, and as I said at the top of the telecast, what makes this bowling center so well liked by all the players is they can play where their ball rolls comfortably. McDowell with that solid profile, high push away, cupped wrist, and then drives through that pivot step. See him sliding way to the left to accommodate the big hook, and still has scored well enough to be in 3rd position. Let's see how close he slides to the foul line, and watch, he'll be on the right-hand part of your screen.
So he now puts the pressure on Walter Ray with that opening double. Walter Ray with a spare-up shooting in the 2nd frame. Watch this.
Good concentration. He knows this is a key shot against a tough opponent.
Walter Ray had 7 of those in his first game victory.
Walter Ray with a Bachelor of Science degree from Cal Poly, or sorry, a degree in physics from Cal Poly. Can even the match if he can strike on the left-hand lane. He needs to add a little speed to make that ball hold or move a little to the left. He goes for the speed.
A little 2-5, and this man wrote a paper at Cal Poly. The title of The Physics of a Bowling Ball Going Down a Lane.
Well, that one went just a little bit too far. At 60 feet, he wanted a little more hook. It slides by. He almost tilts the 2 into the 5, ends up with a spare.
Okay, now another look at 5'8" Marc McDowell. 160-pound fine athlete, walk-on field goal kicker, once at the University of Wisconsin. racing action. We asked Mark earlier, how has college prepared you for the PBA Tour?
Well, college prepared me well for the tour. We traveled a lot, bowled on different conditions. Came out, had some success early, and then conditions changed, things changed. I had to adapt. I feel like I've adjusted and become a lot more versatile player, and I'm ready to win today.
And this is the best I've seen him in a singles event. He was close in the doubles with his partner, Dick Weber.
After a three-bagger, he has left the 2-4-5. Gets the plaudits of the crowd here. Meanwhile, Amleto Monacelli practicing off to our right.
We have a foul judge this week, Chris, because there he is, Randy Stoughton with the PBA, sitting to the side. He judges whether a player goes over the foul line. We had to turn the foul lights off because they were intertied with the automatic scorers.
Oh, and he just did catch the left side of the two. This is a fertile valley. Among the fruits that are grown here, peaches. Harvest soon. We got to come back for that.
Make the other side green with envy when you use quality yard and garden supplies from True Value Hardware stores. To nourish your lawn, get Green Thumb Lawn Food with Weed Control for only $7.88 a bag. Then keep it well groomed with this Weed Eater gas trimmer with sensor feed line advance for just $149.88. And the telescoping tree pruner from Green Thumb has a power lever for extra cutting action. It's just $34.88 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Jack, are you having an affair?
What?
Are you having an affair?
Not this week.
Then what's with the new attitude?
You think you're 16?
18.
What is
It's you.
I'm serious.
So am I. New Thrive makes thinning hair look thicker and fuller. But it's not just what it does for your hair.
How serious?
It's what it does for your head.
It's a battle of the unbeatens. WBA light heavyweight champion Virgil Hill takes on knockout artist Joe Lasisi on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
Well, Joe Lasisi may be undefeated, but he is fighting a very capable light heavyweight champion named Virgil Hill on Wide World of Sports following us.
Virgil, one of my favorite guys from Clinton, Missouri, near the Lake of the Ozarks, and nicknamed Quicksilver. How could he lose to a guy with no nickname at all? Joe Lasisi, no nickname.
All right, Walter Ray getting his second strike. That one coming in the fourth frame. Jonathan, his brother, and Dad Ray trailing rather by 17, can cut it to 7.
The shot of Walter Ray Williams Jr., just a very simple roll. Good hand-eye coordination, end-over-end roll. Perfect hit. 4-pin driving out the 7, all 10 pins driven straight back. And up comes a key shot. Walter has struggled a little bit on the left-hand lane. He needs to hit this to get back in the match.
And now McDowell with a spare up will be shooting in the 5th frame.
Watch the action of the 5-pin. The ball hits the 1-3, drives the 5 over into the 7. The perfect amount of power. You don't want much more than that, just enough to initiate the pin action. And Walter Ray is right back in the match. Now McDowell.
And then he's faced with this. The 3, 6, 7, 10.
It's amazing what happens to your stroke when your opponent puts a little pressure on you. For Marc McDowell, he needs to get the ball over in the 3-6 zone and then drive that 3-pin over into the 7. Needs this to maintain the lead.
Oh, yes. Made of the right stuff on that shot.
Big shot across the lane. The 3-pin goes and just scissors out the 7. McDowell keeps the pressure on the very tough Walter Ray Williams Jr. And through 5 frames, Marc McDowell has just a 3-pin lead, and the match is now on, Chris. The last 5 frames will determine the winner.
the adrenaline moving to that body. And Walter Ray now, with a double up, needs to come through. Next Saturday on ABC, the High Rollers, the Professional Bowler Spring Tour, will be in Las Vegas for the Showboat PBA Doubles Classic. Bowlers team up for big money on the final stop. Instead of 5 next week, twice as much for your money, 10 bowlers.
Walter trying to go for a double to increase his lead to, or cut the lead of McDowell down to 7 pins, leaves the soft 10. So far, we have not had an open frame in the championship round today. Everybody marked the first game. Everybody's clean so far this game.
And that's always refreshing, because our viewers tune in to see excellence, because these are the finest bowlers in the world. But when they do make errors, it just shows you what a tough game it is. Amleto Monacelli warming up, as is our tournament leader, a cheesemaker's son, Tony Marrese. Boy, that was convincing. Walter Ray Williams. We'll be back for more of our second game. The Fresno area is famous.
There's a new tire on the road, the Firestone FR 721. It beats our bestseller ever, the famous 721, in several key performance areas. This new design means even longer wear, better wet traction, and a quiet ride. All at a really great price at your Firestone retailer now. So, you better get rolling. The new FR 721. Price, quality, and performance rolled into one.
Nature's light, enriching our full, fresh hops, as only nature can, brings out the clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
What makes New Cheese Trio the cheese lover's burger?
Cheese, 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 cheese.
3 cheeses, 2 flame-broiled patties. New Cheese Trio for a limited time.
Burger King, amazing.
Bowling's High Rollers bring the spring tour to Las Vegas, pairing up for the $150,000 Showboat PBA Doubles Classic next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Join us next Saturday for the doubles competition, the Showboat. Tony Marrese back on our telecast as the tournament leader, the only lefty in the field of 5.
Playing the extreme outside line. Now Marc McDowell leading by 4, strike up in the 6th, can extend that lead to 14 with a double here in the 7th.
Left to 4 pin.
Nobody has gotten a good break on a high hit. They've left the 4 pin or the 9 pin. Every time a player has gone high, in order to get a big string, looks like you need to be able to trip out that 4. The 2 goes around, just takes out the 7. And Marc McDowell, keeping the ball in play, will lead by 4 pins.
You know, Bo, seeing that track, I want to remind everybody that the greatest spectacle in racing, live right here on ABC tomorrow. I went to practice on Thursday, and what speed, what great cars, and drivers. And we're in Fresno, where Johnny Boyd used to come to Indy, was a great racer. But Billy Vukovich III, in line of the Vukoviches that have been at the track, is in car number 81, and just in front of him in the 9th row is Kevin Cogan, whose dad owns Gable House, where we do a telecast each year.
Down in Torrance. Good luck to him.
Strike for Marc McDowell. And incidentally, Billy Vukovich III's grandfather won Indy twice, back-to-back. And then the next year in '55 was killed in a crash.
Wow. Marc McDowell with that extreme inside line. Hits the 1-3 light, then just saws that 5 pin out. Carries a strike. Has a 4 pin lead, but Walter Ray Williams Jr. can change that here with a strike in the 8th.
Left to 10 to his disappointment. Nelson's bowling tip of the week will be on accuracy today.
I think one of the best all-around tips we give, Chris, it gives somebody an idea on how to line up to their target with their shoulder and what pitfalls they fall into to misdirect the bowling ball. Good tip for all of the game.
All right, very, very close second match on our live telecast from Fresno, and reeks a little bit of a tie, Bo.
Well, Walter Ray Williams Jr. with the full fingertip grip, just putting the tips of his fingers in the bowling ball, spreads that index finger for balance, 9th frame, trails by 4. Oh yeah, best 2 shots he's thrown in the match, solid 10 there in the 8th, and sets up the foundation frame with an aggressive shot here in the 9th. Now it's all up to Marc McDowell to keep that swing in towards his body. Something to look for in McDowell's style is that under pressure he has a tendency to let that swing bounce out at the top of his backswing and pull the ball. If he keeps it inside, Chris, he's going to hit him solid in the pocket.
Okay. 9th frame beauty.
And stayed inside with that shot all the way as he's put himself in a position where he can shut out Walter Ray, and he knows he's throwing this perfect. Now, as the 10th frame comes up, McDowell going at a 2:23 pace. Walter Ray Williams Jr. a possible 2:29. It's still the man who could perform here in the 10th.
Leaving a 4-pin.
Marc McDowell, whether he wins this match, wins this tournament, or is defeated by Walter Ray Williams Jr., takes a look at this video. He must watch his arm swing and what kind of ball reaction he gets. In the 9th frame, he kept that swing what we call tucked inside out. The 10th frame, under the pressure, he let it bounce away from his side a little bit, pulled the ball slightly, I'm talking a ½ inch across his body, has left a 4-pin, and has given Walter Ray Williams Jr. an opportunity to take the match.
Contemplating.
Needs 2 strikes.
Bowlers are especially well attired today. Great shirts, slacks. I have to praise our PBA coordinator, Frank Esposito, a dude himself.
Get up.
And Mark has left the dinner.
What a shot that was, Chris. All he needed was to start the ball towards the head pin. I'll tell you why it's so important. He finishes with 218 instead of Walter Ray Williams Jr. needing 2 strikes to win. Walter only needs a strike and 9 spare, and we'd have a tie. Walter, it's the same as Walter getting a strike by him getting that horrible count right there. No reason to give the ball that much room. Walter, strike here and a 9 spare. We have a tie. 2 strikes, he wins. Anything less, he loses.
Oh, another 10.
That's going to cost him, Chris. The best he can finish is 209. Marc McDowell is going to win the match and go on to meet Monacelli.
And Monacelli will be this man's doubles partner next week in Las Vegas. He and Williams teaming up. And what a tough break for this great champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr., but what an opportunity for Marc McDowell bowling out of Madison, Wisconsin. We'll be back.
Bo Burton's Bowling Tip of the Week is brought to you by Kellogg's, where you can get a taste for the healthy life.
Accuracy is the biggest problem that amateur bowlers have. They either push or pull the ball. Now, I put a piece of white tape on the lane surface to show my intended trajectory to the 1-3 pocket. And the key is to get your arm swing going in the proper direction. What amateurs often do is they push the ball inside their intended target line, take it outside, and they pull the ball left of the head pin, often getting a split. Or they do the opposite. They push the ball outside the intended target line, it drops in behind their back, then they push it out the window, often clipping off 3 pins on the right side. Now what you want to key on is let the ball line up with the target, let that shoulder line up with the target as indicated by that white line, and then push the ball along that line and follow through. Watch this. There you go. Accuracy is 95% of the game. Make sure your push away goes along your intended target line and follow through right through that target line. You'll improve your game.
Hoffman, you started as a junior in the mailroom, and now we're making you a senior partner.
No problem.
That means giving up that piddly teenage sports car,
No problem.
disposing of that adolescent village loft,
No problem.
and absolutely, positively no more of those childish frosted flakes.
Give up life in the fast lane, but don't give up those crunchy sweet Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. The last great taste of youth.
Now let Bo help you score even more. You'll also fix problems, improve strategy, and practice smarter with Bo Burton's new bowling video.
This video is for you.
ABC Sports brings you Bo Burton's instructional video, Score More. Just $24.98 plus $3 shipping. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
So, you've just waxed your car, and you've discovered something very sad. Your car has a clear coat finish. If you've used ordinary wax, that finish is finished. New Simonized non-abrasive wax is different. It won't scratch today's clear coat finishes like ordinary wax. And that can save you a lot of grief.
So there we have our second winner, and this time it's Marc McDowell eliminating Walter Ray Williams Jr. 218, 209 with 6 strikes. We're at Cedar Lanes, a house of 40 lanes. Look at the illusion created here by French style of painting. There it is, deceiving to the eye. It looks like this place is mammoth, at least 100 lanes, but there are only 40 here. I like it.
Chris, they actually have numbers on them as we see the upcoming events. We have the Fresno Open this week, and of course the Showboat Doubles Classic. We have players like Albee and Cook together. Should be an exciting, exciting match. Now we take a look at 6 through 24. This week a field of 155 players, an excellent field, 200 game average, 207 needed to make the top 24. We paid 53 spots. Here's some of the other players. 2 national champions, Kreitz and Peterson. 300-man Benoit, James Miller, 9th place. Sam Macarone, Tony Westlake, who made the championship round in the A&W Classic last week. Ron Bell, the slim Ron Bell, Jess Stayrook. Kent Wagner, wife is the woman pole of the year. Mark Baker getting married in November. Ron Palombi Jr., David Houston, always steady. Mike Miller, 18th. Corey Groth. Billy Young Jr., Paul Renteria, 21st. Art Trask, a local favorite here, Rowdy Morrow from St. Louis. And 24th place, good buddy of ours, Joe Berardi. That rounds out the top 24, Chris. An exciting semifinal match coming right up.
And the trophy you saw goes along with the $18,000 winner's prize here in the Fresno Open with a victory over Walter Ray, 218 to 209. McDowell shoots first. And as Walter Ray was robbed with the 10, that's the way Mark opens the game.
You know, Chris, we haven't kept track, and myself, I should be the one, over 15 years of the carry percentage seems to be getting lower and lower and lower on the Professional Bowlers Tour. A lot of solid 10s, a lot of solid 8s. As you see the grip of Marc McDowell, the full fingertip, just the tips of the second and third fingers in the ball.
And the Collegiate All-American from West Texas State is marked with a spare. In his 28th television appearance from Barquisimeto, Venezuela, just returning from there, Amleto Monacelli seeking his 3rd title. 5th telecast of this year, equaling Mike Albee's performance.
The profile of Amleto Monacelli. He has that very high backswing, a kind of a stutter six-step delivery, gets the ball at the top of the swing, cocks that wrist, then drives in. Watch how close he comes to that left foot, then the tremendous wrist action when he can keep the ball around the 1-3 pocket. They just cannot stand.
Teresa, his recent bride, also from Venezuela. Very tense. That one just sliding by. It's the 1-2-10.
Just lost the ball at the bottom of the swing. When you snap your wrist as hard as Amleto snaps his, you must have a good grip on the bowling ball. It just slipped off, slides by, leaves the 1-2-10, needs to get the ball to the left of the head pin, drive that head pin right over into the 10. And here's what happens. Slides by a very makeable spare.
Last moment. Breaking way too much. And it's our first Open of the afternoon.
Smart move by McDowell. Monacelli gets an open. McDowell quickly on the approach. Take advantage of it.
Striking the second for the winner of the second game, McDowell. Wide World, a light heavyweight championship bout. Virgil Hill, the champion. Another title defense. He's a busy champion, and that's good. Joe Lasisi is his opponent.
Be good to hear my fellow St. Louis and Dan Deerdorf and Alex Walu calling the action in that match. Should be a good one. Now, that extreme inside line of Marc McDowell. Watch how close he comes to the foul line.
So Marc has doubled. Puts the pressure on the two-time champion, Monacelli. Amleto trailing at this moment in our third game of the afternoon, trailing by 24. Our statistician today, Frank Ellenberg. Lonely two.
Amleto Monacelli just really having trouble holding onto a bowling ball. It's easy to see in your television sets at home when a player takes the swing back very quickly, then decelerates coming through. That means he's trying to squeeze a hold of it and hold on to it, and you're not going to get the proper wrist action and roll. Unless Monacelli puts some tape in his thumb or something, he's not going to shoot anything today.
Earlier we asked Amleto what he liked about competing in America as a pro bowler.
What I like about this country is the organization, about everything. Everything's so well organized that makes you feel good. And the only thing I don't like about this country is that, I mean, not this country, my career, is that I have to travel every week with suitcase. You can really get relaxed like at home.
Well, maybe we can have a tournament in Barquisimeto someday. He can solve that problem. His dad owns 2 bowling centers.
I'll vote for that. And again, Amleto, a 2-pin, a young man that was in the area of a 5.6 Richter scale earthquake when he was home.
Said it just rocked him for about 10 seconds, and he's going to get rocked by Marc McDowell here if he doesn't make an adjustment after the next little break. He needs to get that thumb hole tightened up to put some pressure on Marc McDowell with some good shots.
We're at Cedar Lanes in Fresno, not too far from Yosemite, but in the San Joaquin Valley. Those are almonds inside the shell. Harvest a little bit later. Aren't they delicious? Ooh.
This part doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
Book says it fits.
At Big A, we supply the pros, so we have to know what we're talking about, and our parts have to be pro quality. It's one more way we earn the A every day.
Nature's light, giving life to sparkling streams, as only nature can, helps create the clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
I used pressure-treated lumber, and I still have $800 in water damage. How come?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal protection.
This patio was supposed to last for years. Now I have $1,200 in damage. Why?
Your concrete wasn't protected with Thompson's Water Seal. Thompson's penetrates into wood, brick, or concrete to form a barrier water can't get past, even when driven by 98-mile-per-hour winds.
Let it rain. This time I use Thompson's, a great defense against repair expense.
Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
To measure the ultimate test of speed and skill, there is only one yardstick, the Brickyard. Witness the Indianapolis 500 live tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Indy tomorrow, and today, live, the owner, Spalding Wathen, and Shelley Cox, the general manager. Two classy people.
Marc McDowell, 25-pin lead, looks as sharp as ever, can extend to 35 pins, fourth frame.
Ray Williams won the first game over Curtis Odom, 237 to 187. And then Marc McDowell, at whom we're looking, eliminated Williams, shooting 218 with 6 strikes to Williams' 209. And the winner of the semifinal game will go against Tony Marrese. String thus far this afternoon.
Boy, the fine line of excellent shots compared to marginal shots has been crossed by Marc McDowell. He has just kept that swing inside, waiting for the ball, and has driven all 10 pins in the pit the last 4 frames. Monacelli is floundering. He needs to just reach back and go for it all. He can't take a chance on even waiting around for McDowell to falter.
Amleto leaving the 2 and Sleeper 8 having the best match play record of our field of 5 finalists with 18 wins, 6 losses.
What do you do when you've kind of lost your timing, lost the feel, such as happened to Monacelli? Very obvious, not even close to the pocket. What you must do is move to the right on the approach for your strike ball and throw a little straighter shot to the pocket. Forget that big hook. It's not doing you one bit of good.
And Amleto, who has not won this year, was second at the True Value, third at the PBA National, fourth at the Bowlers Journal Merritt, Florida Open. And here he is in his 5th telecast of the year. He won the Japan Cup in '87, the Showboat Invitational in '88.
Has 25 seconds to initiate a shot from the time his ball comes back. The PBA has put in a new, what we call 25-second rule. That means from the time the ball comes back, you have 25 seconds in order to initiate an approach and shot on the next lane.
Amleto.
Straighten the shot out, Chris. We saw him come back and win the Showboat Invitational with a straighter shot when he was struggling. He made the move that time. Let's see if he maintains it or even has a chance as the red-hot McDowell comes up in the 6th.
And he's strung 5, opening with a spare. What a performance.
Marc McDowell attended 3 different colleges, went to the University of Wisconsin, was on the football squad, and was a backup to Kevin Rohde, the All-American. So he quit the football program, went on to the University of Wisconsin at lacrosse, joined their bowling team, and finally received a scholarship from West Texas State University, and that's where he finished his management degree, going for 6 in a row.
That's it. The Ricky Skaggs look-alike. Marc McDowell, 69-pin lead.
The wall shot, the head pin goes to sideboard, drives out to 4, 5, and 7, and this is the best string we've seen of strikes in a number of telecasts. Let's see if Monacelli can answer the challenge, throw a couple of strikes here, and stay in the match. Otherwise, it's going to be all over.
Thanks to irrigation, this is a fertile valley where grapes are grown, which eventually will become raisins.
Excellent.
Quaker State engines don't know when to quit.
Quaker State engines run strong and run long.
because Quaker State exceeds every single car maker's U.S. requirements for maximum engine protection. The big Q stands for quality.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
DAP 230 sealant will last for 50 years or more. That means it'll not only outlast conventional caulks, it just might outlast your house. DAP 230 sealant for the jobs you only want to do once.
Nature's light, nourishing golden fields of barley, as only nature can, ensures the clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
Bowling's High Rollers bring the spring tour to Las Vegas, pairing up for the $150,000 Showboat PBA Doubles Classic next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Yes, a change of pace next week. Doubles competition. Getting back to the Showboat lanes and seeing Frank Modica and visiting the city with no clocks.
Must time for Monacelli. The best he can shoot is 233. McDowell going at a 240 pace. Monacelli in arrears by 67 pins.
Do or die double for Monacelli.
Doing the best he can. He's going to that straighter shot there, Chris, and he dropped the ball. You could almost hear it go thump, thump, the double dribble, as we call it. But because he wasn't trying to play the big hook, his accuracy came into play, very similar to what we were talking about in the bowling tip of the week earlier, and he got the ball solid in the pocket. You see his finishes through the 6 rounds. The first 3 rounds are qualifying 18 games. The next 3 rounds, as you see the custom shoes of Monacelli's, a little beat up. The next 3 rounds were match play. Monacelli must strike again.
Oh. It's got to be bolted.
Well, we were discussing, Chris, the game earlier, the amount of solid taps we've seen in the last couple years in a professional bowlers tour, and here by far is Monacelli's best shot through 8 frames. He doesn't get rewarded. He actually ends up with a spare. So something needs to be changed a little bit in the balls or the pin actions for these type of players.
It was like one of your clinic shots, Bo. I mean, just perfect in the pocket, wasn't it?
Yep. Well, it's almost, when you say perfect anymore, that's as a qualified perfect. It looks perfect, but it doesn't get the proper result.
Yes.
Now, Marc McDowell has a chance to bowl a 290 game.
Marc getting recognition. The man on this championship pair in 2 match games averaged 223, 14 and 10, 1-loss record during match play competition. That pinfall made possible by the shot of a practicing tournament leader, Tony Marrese. Only his second spare. Speaking of perfection, 2 light heavyweights with unblemished records. The champion Hill, 24 wins, 15 knockouts, and the challenger Lassisi, 22 wins, 20 knockouts.
It will not go the distance. The boy from Clinton, Missouri will win by the 8th round. And this match is going to be all over on this shot.
All right, we'll have that final score for you in a moment. The Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Time and time again, the world's great pictures are trusted to one film, Kodak. Why trust your memories to anything less? Speed. For some, it's life.
Racing is in the blood. To win, all parts must work to perfection. The Motorcraft World Champions win with the same Motorcraft parts you can buy for your car. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Monday, Linda Hamilton's looking for a good time. And Jack Scalia's giving it his best shot.
Last night was a mistake.
It's Club Med, the movie.
We picked up green. He shoots and he scores. The crowd goes wild.
Cap. Hi, great crowd out there, huh? Oh, you know, they're here to salute you.
I love them all.
You know, I'd sure like to be in your shoes.
Better lace them on real tight, because that's all you have out there. Just you and your shoes.
Hey, Cap, who was the quickest player you ever saw?
Nate Archibald, Kansas City.
Who was the toughest you ever put a move on?
Judy, sophomore, UCLA.
Happy May Days at Maaco. You've never had so many ways to save so much on Maaco's auto painting services. Save up to 50% on clear coats, vinyl tops, pinstripes, all paint accessories. In May, every day is Savings Day at Maaco.
10 to 50% off accessories and paint services. Expiration May 31st.
Better get Maaco. There's never been a better time to do something about those annoying dents and bumps. Come on, get happy. Get up to 50% off now during May Days at Maaco. Wow!
Sports with John Reppitz tonight at 6 and 11 on 27 News.
Frank Everett at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, a battle of the two unbeaten as Virgil Hill puts his WBA World Light Heavyweight title on the line against the #1 contender, Joe Lasisi from Bismarck, North Dakota. Plus, less than 24 hours before the greatest spectacle in auto racing, we'll be here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a special report on the Indy 500 and a talk with Danny Sullivan, who's racing with a broken arm. We'll also have a preview of Leonard Hearns 2, The War, including live interviews with both fighters. It's all just ahead of 4:30 Eastern Time. Right now, back to Chris Schenkel and more bowling.
Thank you, Frank. We're in California, in Fresno. And from Madison, Wisconsin, Marc McDowell has won 2 matches, the last 249 to Amleto Monacelli's 188, setting up the final for the Fresno Open Championship. I'm Chris Schenkel, and here with Nelson Burton Jr., and it's been interesting as we are not behind our normal schedule today. They're bowling as they should.
Well, I think the 25-second rule that the PBA has implemented has had an influence, and of course McDowell's throwing some strikes, Chris.
All right. Let's have an Ask Bo question answer. You're adept at doing that?
All right, partner. This question has been written in by many people, and it comes to this simply. Do the players get any practice before the championship round on television? The answer is yes. They get 1 hour of practice before the championship round. Then each challenger gets 4 practice balls before the final match, and then the tournament leader, in this case Tony Marrese, will get 10 practice balls before he goes into that championship game. If you have any questions for me, please send them to this address.
Thanks for the answer, Bo. We move in now and near the 10 pins that Tony Marrese would like to knock down with regularity. Going against a red-hot 2-time winner today, Marc McDowell. Our round leaders from the very start.
Well, 18 games of qualifying. Baker up there, right there. Marrese caught him in the 18th game for a tie. Then 24 games of match play. James Miller. Then Tony Marrese took over and led by more than 200 pins. And he's playing an extreme outside line, Chris. He's hanging the ball right on the channel. And that's a do-or-die type shot. And if he gets loose in this championship game, he could shoot a big number. If he doesn't, he can really, really struggle. I remember a couple of times I led a tournament from that outside line, won Hartford, Connecticut, and I got on TV, I start pulling the ball, and it's 160 every time. So Maurice's got his work cut out for him. It should be a great match. Neither player has ever won a championship before.
And, of course, Marrese has been off practicing on other lanes. Had some practice, as Bo indicated, here on the championship pair throughout the afternoon. And now putting some tape in that, on that bowling ball. He is getting ready. Release a little tension. Bowling out of Hilton Head, South Carolina, but he is from Lamara, Wisconsin. Grandson of an Italian-born cheesemaker. So he's greeted by that single pin.
Not so bad right there. His first shot, he did not pull the ball away from the channel and got a break where he could have left the 6-8 split, and that is a good shot to start the match. Remember, Marc McDowell has never been a winner either, and when they get in that uncharted territory, it's going to be interesting the last 3 or 4 frames.
Tony Marrese, one of 27 lefties that started in the original field. Only 2 qualified for the final 24. Now the winner of 2 matches, his 3rd game. Impressive.
Well, that shot that our director Larry Cam brings you there on the right-hand lane just showed how well Marc McDowell is keeping his swing inside. He has such good body positions. When he keeps that swing inside, the ball is going to hit dead solid in the pocket. And we can watch for it during the match, especially if he gets under a lot of pressure or sees the finish line too early and starts letting that swing bounce out. He'll start cutting up high into the nose.
At the time, a high hit leaving the 3-6-10. How things can change in a hurry.
Just like that shot right there. McDowell a little anxious to get an early double. The backswing comes inside, then bounces out on the downswing. He goes high, leaving the 3-6-10 spare. And that swing must stay inside on all shots because his mind and body are geared for an inside-out swing. When he cuts across it, trouble.
Okay. The championship match is underway in Fresno. Now Tony Marrese spare up, shooting in the 2nd frame. Fourth at the Fair Lanes Open in Baltimore. And a 7-pin.
2 good shots by Marrese to start the match. He left the 8-pin on the left-hand lane, and here the 7-pin. Now watch Marrese. He has the same problem that McDowell has. He gets the swing inside. Now if he keeps it inside, he'll be right around the target line. See, he cuts across it just a little bit, but you can get away with that outside-in swing or inside-out swing from the extreme outside line.
One of 5 children, 3 brothers and a sister. His parents, Ann and Frank Jr., his family were on the site in Baltimore the last time he was on TV. They're watching back in Wisconsin today.
And Tony said he wants to say hi to everybody in Brownsville, Wisconsin, population 350. Marrese has a glove on to help him in his grip of the ball, and a full fingertip grip. Needs to see his first strike, 3rd frame.
Another 7.
Got the crowd buzzing. Not so much of the pin action, but that ball was just hanging on the edge. Look at this shot. The ball seems to be defying the law of gravity, but that's the kind of shot that Marrese played to get to the #1 position. He has to stick with that shot. And if he can keep trusting the ball out there wide like that, he will be very tough to beat because strikes will start happening.
All kinds of risks in every sport. Bowling, it's that hanging on the channel. In auto racing, it's going at the speeds that they'll be producing tomorrow at the newly resurfaced 2.5 mile oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Live at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on the ABC.
Mark says, what's happened? Mark, if you can see your backswing, son, and I know you're going to watch this tape, you can become one of the best bowlers on the tour if you can correct that habit of an erratic backswing. As you see him, needs to get the ball over in the 1-2-4 zone, drive that head pin into the sideboard or into the 10 to convert the spare. If he doesn't convert, he'll be behind by at least 10 pins.
leaving the 10, and it's an open frame for a man that's won 2 coming into this championship match. Light heavyweight championship, in addition to the Hill-Lassisi fight, it'll be an interview with Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, on their upcoming fight, a live interview with those 2 good punchers.
McDowell trailing by 13, seeking his first championship, 4th frame.
The Brave Ones respond after an error with strikes like that, now trailing by 13. More after this.
Somewhere there's got to be a cure for athlete's foot.
There is. Step up to the mic.
Mike?
Mycotin. It cured my athlete's foot. It's got something the others don't. Myconazole. There's nothing more powerful.
Hey!
I'm giving away advice, not Mycotin.
Say, what you got for my athlete's foot?
Step up to the mic.
Mike?
Mycotin. It cures athlete's foot. There's even a deodorant Mycotin.
Then I'll take the Mycotin. To go.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Mycotin.
I didn't always look like this. This took a lot of work and a lot of help from this 1-calorie diet A&W root beer. And now I'm looking so good I have a blind date with a big Hollywood star.
Hi. A short but highly eventful romance.
Pour yourself a rich, satisfying Diet A&W with 100% NutraSweet.
These are a portion of the Cedar Lanes. We're on the championship pair in the title game. 2 non-winners. This is Tony Marrese, the only left-hander in our field of 5, against a 2-time winner today, Marc McDowell. Tony is leading by 13, spare up shooting in the 4th. High hit, 4-7.
Marrese playing, once again, that extreme outside line. He needs to get his follow-through going along the intended target line. Once again, we're backing up to the bowling tip of the week. There's an old saying that my golf pro that teaches me, Duke Nichols, told me that the follow-through is really an extension of a body's intention. So you have to get it going along the target line.
Well, it's obvious to me, Bo, that your intentions are to get better in golf. Look out, America. He's had some channel shots earlier this week. We asked him earlier if they would affect his play this afternoon.
Well, first of all, it did enter my mind, but I'm going to have to block it out. First of all, the approaches are very slick, and I'm not the type of player that likes slick approaches. I don't slide a whole lot. And when I'm playing that close to the gutter, occasionally, if my timing is a little bit off, it's going to fall off into the gutter. It happens. So my goal is to keep every shot on the lane, I guess.
And, of course, there is the first of the day.
And you know what, though? If he can keep trusting that ball out there, he has a chance to win the match. You live and die by what got you there. He plays that extreme outside line. It's difficult to play under pressure. You see that follow-through. Once again, we talk about the follow-through. You see the follow-through go to the left, way out. He forced the ball way to the left. The follow-through directed the arm swing too wide. Was the result of the arm swing being inside out too much. Now he has a tough spare, actually a strike shot. Good shot.
Oh, yeah. Got rid of that embarrassment with a beautiful shot.
Okay, now watch this follow through. Right up the boards that time, makes the spare, and he only trails. He leads by 1, even after the gutter ball.
With that double, it's 11-pin lead now by Marc McDowell. Interesting, 2 non-winners on the PBA Tour. 6-year-old Marc McDowell and 28-year-old Tony Marrese.
Chris, the Indianapolis 500 in your home state.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Mears on the pole, but
right.
Pick a winner. Does that make him a lock winner? There's 500 miles to go?
No, not really. I like the person on the outside of the front row. His name is Emerson Fittipaldi. But I'm rooting for Kevin Cogan, A.J. Foyt. a lot of great drivers. I'm rooting that they all finish safely.
looking forward to that, as McDowell was looking forward to that third consecutive strike. He's averaging 233.5 coming into this final game, and has now put Tony Marrese behind by 19 pins. Marrese has not, as of yet, gotten a strike. 6th frame.
Concentration broken. Wisely stepping off the approach.
The time rule is really not affected, that 25-second time rule is not affected by an outside disturbance. So Marrese has all the time he needs for the necessary shot.
And he really needed that. He's gotten behind, and
he's got to like this. 3-pin goes to sideboard, trips out the 6 and 10. He's right back in the match. Now, he had one in the gutter in the 5th frame on this lane. He needs a strike to get the match down to just 9 pins. Biggest shot of his career.
a 7.
You're just not supposed to get tapped when you throw a quality ball like that from an extreme outside line, 16 pounds, urethane, great angle of attack to the 1-3, Chris. They're supposed to go down.
What can we do to correct it?
Well, you can buy a pin manufacturing company, and I can buy a bowling ball company, and both probably go broke, but it would sure solve some of the problem.
Okay.
Little slippage in the line by Tony Marrese, but it really hasn't affected his shot that much. Even though he's only bowling a 186 pace, he's been around the pocket and filled all of the frames. Now for McDowell, he can grab the bull by the horns and just take a commanding lead. He's never been here before.
And he gets 4 in a row. Let's replay that shot.
Watch the 3-pin, the 3rd pin on the right-hand part of your screen. McDowell throws his worst shot of the day and gets rewarded. Tony Marrese, in the previous frame, had thrown his best shot of the day and actually was not rewarded. He left a solid 7. A little bit too much luck involved.
Equaling an earlier performance of a 5-bagger, Marc McDowell, Madison, Wisconsin.
Tony Marrese taking a re-rack. As you see the 5th strike in a row of Marc McDowell, he can see the finish line. He knows victory is within his grasp. And another rule change by the PBA, which I think is really excellent, Chris, and working towards the perfect rule. They've changed it down to just 2 re-racks per game. Ideally, I think that we could play by the rub of the green. No re-racks. They're headed that way. Now, Marrese, 8th frame. Position round last night. McDowell defeated Marrese 230 to 213, but Marrese had already had the tournament locked up. But as he comes up trailing by 39 pins in the 9th frame, he has to strike. Without a strike, he cannot win the Fresno Open 1989.
So, 4th this year at the Fairlanes Open in Baltimore. He's going to better that today, of course.
Tentative look on his face. He knows he has to have a strike. Too bad. Best he can roll is 199.
He just joined us. Walter Ray Williams defeated Curtis Odom 237 to 187, and this man, McDowell, defeated Williams 218 to 209, then dominated Monacelli 249 to 188. He's experienced those taps along with the other 4 professionals that have been in our field.
Every week, a lot of solid 10s, a lot of solid 8s, and what we haven't seen this summer so far is this solid 9. That's really an almost inexcusable strike, but McDowell is on his way to his first victory. He'll be in the 220s if he can mark in the 9th and 10th frames, where he's only going at a 186 pace. I remember when I first met Marc McDowell, Chris, it was 1985. I was doing an exhibition in Madison, Wisconsin. They marched out this young college student, and I said, whoa, this is a little too tough for an exhibition match. And right there on the spot, he got a sponsor who is, I'm sure, happy with the relationship. He's been on the Professional Bowlers Tour and just keeps getting better and better. And he has a chance for a victory lap here. He has it locked up, 10th frame.
Once kicked a 48-yard field goal for the University of Wisconsin Badgers. And now today, realizing his best performance as a professional bowler, first time ever winner. What a milestone for Marc McDowell of Madison, Wisconsin. We'll give you that final score when we return. We'll be talking to Marc as well following this.
What do you have? Give me 2 pizza puffs, chili dog. Excuse me. Gus. 1 minute. Sorry. Give me 2 pizza puffs, a chili dog, a large.
Lord.
Gus, I told you, to be hot dog kings, we need lots of Bud Light. Not Bull Black?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Now what do you think? It's beautiful.
Because everything else is just a light.
Hey, what about my pizza puffs?
What makes New Cheese Trio the cheese lover's burger?
Cheese, 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 cheese.
3 cheeses, 2 flame broiled patties. New Cheese Trio for a limited time.
Burger King. Amazing.
You know, a lot of people like to talk while they drive. Well, let me give you a tip. It's a lot easier with a unit-end cellular phone.
Yeah, I didn't know who to trust, especially with a foreign car.
Midas has the right muffler for almost every foreign car and guarantees them for as long as you own that car. No appointment needed.
So I went to number 1.
Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
It's a battle of the unbeatens. WBA light heavyweight champion Virgil Hill takes on knockout artist Joe Lasisi on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
Well, the appropriate tune would be On Wisconsin.
Oh, boy. I'm just so happy. I've dreamed about this day for a long time. I got a few breaks today. Tony bowled a great week, bowled great all week. Bowled a good match there. I was fortunate. I carried the lucky hits, and I'm just happy. Very happy.
I'm going to give you a little pause here. Spalding off and Shelley Cox with the spoils, but Tony Marrese, it was great to see him on television today, and he's with Nelson Burton right now.
Thank you, Chris. Tony, you bowled a really good game. The score doesn't reflect it. You left an 8-pin, a couple of 7s, and you figure that outside line, you should be rewarded with more strikes than that in a championship game.
I agree with you. Basically, all week, that shot was carrying. I think I left more 7-pins and more of the back row in one game than I had probably in one block all week long, you know, and I guess that's the way it goes. And congratulations to Marc, because he bowled real well all week.
Well, Billy Whaley said it best, Chris, as you see this young man. If you go to the well enough times, Tony, you eventually get water. You keep bowling like that, you'll get a title. You have a new champ, Chris.
We really do, and Shelley Cox has a beautiful sterling silver trophy. And proprietor Spalding Wathen, wonderful guy in this San Joaquin Valley. You have some cash there, don't you?
I sure do. $18,000.
That's probably more thrilling than kicking a 48-yard field goal, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. This is rewarding. I've worked hard, and I've worked a long time to get to this place, and I just couldn't be happier. I'd like to thank everybody here at Cedar Lanes, Spalding and Shelley. They were great all week, and it's just a great place to get a title. Thank you.
How much did the collegiate bowling prepare you for the pro tour?
Collegiate bowling prepared me tremendously. I was at a good program at West Texas State. We traveled a lot, bowled in a lot of different conditions. I was surrounded by a lot of good bowlers, and prepared me well. I think it's a great way to go, and I think you're going to see more collegiate bowlers out here.
And what about your doubles partner in Las Vegas next week?
Yeah, my buddy Jack Jurek from West Texas. We're going to team up next week, and hopefully we'll be back right here on TV.
Shelley, thank you for a wonderful tournament. As general manager and as owner, Spalding, you're something.
I'd like to say hello to Harry Smith down there in Florida, the great pro bowler. Hi, Harry.
The great billiard player. Okay. The executive producer of ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour is Jeffrey Mason. Today's telecast was produced by Carol Letty, directed by Larry Camp, technical director Les Weiss, associate director David Kiviat. Now, this is Chris Schenkel along with Nelson Burton Jr. saying so long from the San Joaquin Valley in Fresno, California, land of the good fruit, the nuts, and good living. Coming up next, Virgil Hill defends his light heavyweight title against challenger Joe Lasisi. And tomorrow, don't forget, 11 a.m. Eastern Time from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The spectacle in all of auto racing, the Indianapolis 500.
The Professional Bowlers Spring Tour has been brought to you by your friends at Anheuser-Busch, who remind you to know when to say when. By Kodacolor Gold Film, show your true colors. And by Ford Motorcraft, get the peace of mind of doing it right. Motorcraft quality parts.